WGSN-DB Going Solo Network welcomes you to You Can Find Love After 50 with your host, dating coach Lisa Copeland. Lisa's best-selling book on Amazon, The Winning Dating Formula for Women Over 50, has helped women all over the globe find love. Her weekly column in the Huffington Post, which is viewed by millions of readers, along with her unique insight into how to find a quality man, makes her the #1 dating coach for women over 50. And now, your host, Lisa Copeland.
Hi everyone, I'm Lisa Copeland, the dating coach who makes finding love after 50 fun and easy at findaqualityman.com. I'm also the host and here to talk to you today about how you can find love after 50 on WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. Today I want to talk about some really bad habits that both men and women have when it comes to dating and being out there dating. The first one is chasing after those who don't want to be caught. A lot of times we love that really popular person, that the most beautiful woman online or the most handsome man online, because what they do is it's like they make us sparkle more, but that's not true. It goes back to high school when we wanted to be friends with the popular kids. But what it really is we're going after people that don't necessarily want us. And when you do that, it actually sets you up for continued failure. It's a real issue here. Go after people who you think are going to make you happy and who can sustain that happiness through the long run. Just because someone looks great doesn't mean they have the capability of making you happy. Another bad habit we get into is when we think that there's no men out there or all the good ones are taking. It's like we take this one dark cloud and we spread it over the entire sky about dating. I promise you, there are really good men and women out there to date. The problem is we can't see them a lot of the time because we're hooked into the type of person we think we should be with. And that is not necessarily the best person with you. And when we think there's no one out there to date, or we think that all the good ones are taken, what happens is we make that come true for us. So I want you to get out of the bad habit of saying there's no one out there and start thinking there are so many people out there. There are so many possibilities for me. Another bad habit we have when it comes to dating is not asking for help, especially when you know you need it. I have a lot of women come to me because they're either overwhelmed by too much information or they actually don't know what to do when it comes to dating, and they want to work with me either in a group or privately. This is the way to move ahead. When I started my business, I didn't know what to do. I could have taken 12 years like I did in dating to figure it all out. I learned from my dating mistake to stop trying to do it myself, and I got help. When you find someone that can help you, it's going to make all the difference in the world. It's another set of eyes to see what's going on. And it also is another set of eyes that can help you see what you can't see and who can give you the shortcuts to getting what you need. So get help. Find a dating coach you resonate. If it's me, come visit me on findaqualityman.com. If it's someone else, great. Just find someone you think can help you and get that help. You don't have to spend years struggling with dating. There's lots of people that can really help you get what you want. Another thing people do that really holds them back in dating is they hold on to beliefs that they really need to let go of, or they hold on to anger that they need to let go of. When women come to me to work with me, I really get a sense of how angry they still are at an ex. Because if they haven't worked out that anger, what's going to happen is they're just going to attract the same type of person so they can work it out with them. You need to let go of whatever bothered you about past relationships or whatever someone did in the past that may have hurt you in some way. I know you're hurt. I know a lot of people are wounded from what's happened in past relationships. It could be abandonment. It could be betrayal. It could be it just came to an end for them, but not for you. But the secret is healing this and feeling good about looking at the possibilities that are out there for you in your future life. When we hang on to the old, we can't move forward. We can't open the door to the possibilities. So work on healing whatever wounds you still have before you get out there and date. It's going to make a huge difference in how you show up in the dating world. Nobody likes it when you show up really bitter and complaining about an ex that just left your life. Shut that door and get to a place of pretty close to neutral about the person you just left so that you can open the next door for a really great person who could be perfect for you. Another bad habit we do is spending time with people who make us unhappy. A lot of times people are unhappy in their own lives and they try and pull you down with them. An example of this is when you hang out with women, for example. You hang out with other women who say, I've quit dating, there's no one out there. Or I've quit dating, every date I went on was a disaster. So they're unhappy. They didn't make progress. They didn't get help. They didn't get over their past issues. And they're putting it out there to you all the time to drag you down. So whatever you bring to them, they spout negativity about it because they're trying to pull you down to their level. You want to be around people that are hopeful and really are excited for you to see you move forward. Staying with unhappy people will just drag you down and hold you back. So let's shift that mindset to being with the happy people. A really big issue that many daters have is they deny their personal responsibility in problems that happened. We still blame the other person and we don't look at our side to see what it is we contributed to make the relationship go south. Yes, one person may be more to blame whenever there's an affair. It's very painful. But usually when there's an affair, the other person has either disengaged from the relationship in some way or has gotten involved in something else that they feel is more important and leaves the person left in the relationship feeling alone. And so they go seeking someone else. I guarantee you that in every problem that happens in a relationship, there is a certain responsibility that you've contributed to it, whether you have allowed bad behavior, whether you've disconnected, even with abuse. I know some of you may really question me on this, but when we allow someone to abuse us, we are giving away our personal power and we aren't taking responsibility for finding a way to get out of it. Getting out of an abusive relationship takes tremendous courage. The other person isn't going to change. It's us that has to change. If somebody betrayed you, look at what you could have done differently to maybe have that person stay if you really wanted that person. The secret is just taking personal responsibility for whatever happened on your side of the relationship. You can't change them, but you can take responsibility for you. A really bad habit that we get into that can just kill your dating life is when you let everyone else make decisions for you. I went out with a guy once. My family hated him. Yet he and I, we were pretty good together. If we had lived on an island together, we would have been great together. There were things that worked and things that didn't work. But I didn't really give it a chance because everybody disliked him so much. Everybody thought they knew better than me what would make me happy. I've had friends when I was out there dating say to me, whoever you're with has to fit in with our group. No, they didn't. And I came to resent them for saying that versus taking on my own personal power, making a decision for what's happy for me. When you make a decision for what's happy for you, other people will oftentimes fall in line because you're happy. If they see you miserable, then they're not going to be happy for you. But you need to be clear on what it is you want and go for it. Don't let everybody's thoughts and opinions affect you. It really gives away your personal power, and you want that power in your life. Another bad habit people do when they get in a relationship is they give up who they are, especially women. We start to change ourselves so that we end up taking on the activities of the other man, and we give up our own activities. Really get in touch with some of the things that you love about your life and make sure that you continue doing them, because the biggest thing that men are drawn to with you is your passion, your heart, what you love. And when you give up what you love for what he does or what he likes, a piece of you literally dies inside. The candle that was shining so bright is now dim. And then he starts thinking, what happened to that person I used to be with? And on the other hand, though, we're thinking, oh my God, I'm doing this because I think he'll like this and I want him to like this and he'll like me and it'll make our relationship better. Yeah, it's good to compromise and do things he likes, but it's also good to keep your own life as well. You need that. It's really, really important to have that. The next bad habit is pushing too hard when you first meet someone. So let's talk about a first date and what often happens. We go on the date and we have this super imaginary list in our head of what someone has to be or what someone has to do. And we get there on the date and we start going through this imaginary resume. So, do you have so many kids, and what do they look like, and what kind of house do you live in, and what's your job? That's like being on a job interview. It gives off a really bad vibration, and somebody starts pulling back because they think, ugh, they're interviewing me, versus seeing if someone's fun and interesting. Another time this pushing too hard happens when you're really needy and desperate. You're tired of being alone and you just want to find that person. And you think someone's profile looks great and you show up on the date and they look great. And you start moving really fast and you say things like, let's be exclusive. Let's take both our profiles off and just try and see if we will work. This makes somebody really uncomfortable. It is a really strong push forward. And whenever we push forward, whatever we push forward moves backwards. So you want to really let go of that. Don't make yourselves exclusive the second you meet. Go out there and date other people while you're still dating until you choose to be exclusive. I went on a date with a guy once. He took me to the nicest restaurant and we had the best time. And I'm thinking, wow, I would love to go out with him. And what did he do? He said to me, I think we should be exclusive and just really be together, just you and I. And I said to him, no. At that time, I didn't know how to date, so I handled the whole thing wrong, and I ended up really hurting his feelings. But I said, no, I can't do that right now. What he did was he pushed hard to take me out of my own decision-making process. You want to make your own decisions, and you don't want someone pushing you into something that you don't want to do. And you don't want to be the pusher either. Had that man said to me, we had such a great date, do you want to go out again? I would have said, yeah, that would be fun. And who knows where it would have gone. But what ended up happening is because he pushed too hard after a first date is he was mad at me for saying no. And I was perplexed, like, why in the world didn't he just ask me for a second date? So be very careful about pushing your energy forward. So I want to take a second here and I want to share with you that you're listening to Lisa Copeland on the You Can Find Love After 50 show on WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network, and I'm really glad you're here with me. I hope you'll get out there, start dating using all the tips you're learning on this show and all the shows on Going Solo Network. And I'd love to offer you my free report, 5 Little Known Secrets for Finding Quality Men. It's going to give you lots of ideas for where you can find the good people in the real world and online. And even as a man, you can use it too. Just turn the sex around to 5 Little Known Secrets where women are. It's the same idea. And you can get that on findaqualityman.com. You'll see a really pretty report on the side when you land there, and sign up for it. I'll also be sending you some fantastic blogs every week. I have women write me all the time thanking me for all the great information because nobody was born knowing how to date. And every week in your email box, you'll get a short and sweet email from me that just gives you some great ideas to get out there and start using that day. Also, if you want to go a little deeper, head over to Amazon. You can find my book, The Winning Dating Formula for Women Over 50. I have had comments from people that said it's good for men, it's good for women, it's good for everyone of all ages. It's going to give you a lot of great ideas to get you started, to get out there dating. So again, it's on Amazon. My name is Lisa Copeland. The book is The Winning Dating Formula for Women Over 50. And if you like it, please leave a review. People that love the book oftentimes don't take the time to review, and it's only people it didn't resonate with that give you a tough review. So go on over there if you've read it and give a great review because it helps other women see how it can help them too. All right, we're going to continue on with some of these bad habits that could be holding you back in dating. The next habit people often have is they really discredit themselves for all the things that they aren't. They'll say, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not handsome enough, I don't have this much money or this kind of house, or I don't go on these kinds of vacations. People love to be with people that love life and love being with life. Your life is great. It's how you view your life that makes it better or makes it worse. We're always in the perfect place. That is a spiritual law, that we're always right where we're supposed to be. So when you take away from yourself where you are, it makes your energy come across as less than. And we can only attract where we're at. So what you end up doing is you either attract a partner who also feels less than, or you attract a partner that starts putting you down all the time. You don't want that. You want someone that thinks you're great. So what you want to start to do, we all have flaws. We all have issues. We all have things we would love to make better in our lives. But we're human. So what you want to do is, instead of focusing on the garbage in your life, I want you to go out and start focusing on what you do have. So maybe you don't have a big house, but you still have a home or an apartment or whatever. And you could say, I have this beautiful apartment. Or go out there and change things about it if you don't like it. You want to take action to change your life. You can't expect someone else to come in and take action for that. It needs to start with you. If this is you, you're the one discrediting yourself, I want you to go and I want you to write down 10 great things about your life that you love about your life. And every day, add something about the day that you loved about the day. This is a total mind shift of focusing on yuck that probably isn't there to, wow, I have this in gratitude. This is going to change your life for the better in so many ways. Another bad habit people get into is running away from problems and fears. I have a lot of women come to me that don't know why they're not attracting good guys. And one of the first things I ask them is, let's talk about what some of your fears are when it comes to men and dating. The reason I do this is you really need to face whatever fears or blocks you have head on. Because when fears take over, they are powerful and they can take everything away from what you want. Whereas when you own your problems and fears and you admit that they're there and you take them in and you let them just flow through by acknowledging them, you will be surprised how you're able to release them. What we resist persists. So this is why it's important to acknowledge any fears you have. One of the exercises I'll do with clients is I'll say, feel that fear or feel that emotion, whatever it is, sadness, anger, any of that. Feel it in your entire body and let it get as intense as it can possibly get, and just send it acceptance and love. We can't always work through our fears, but what we can do is accept them And that's when they start to go away. That's a lot better than letting those fears take over your life. The next bad habit we have is we get really focused on the past and what was really hard and what was really bad. All of us have had some tough times in our lives. The secret is to take any tough situation and look at how it changed you, what you learned from it, and where you are today as a result of it. I was married 2 times. I was in one marriage for 24 years and another marriage for 2 years. When I realized in my second marriage that we were not a fit and that we were heading for divorce, I was so embarrassed. I was like mortified that this had happened. And when I had to tell my friends and my family, I really wanted to go under the table. I was that embarrassed. Now, I could have done this huge pity party and I could have said, oh my God, this is awful. I really messed up. I screwed up. What's wrong with me? How did this happen? And I could have let that affect the rest of my life. What I did instead was I decided I'm not focusing on my past. Yes, I did have 2 failed marriages. And yes, at that moment, I felt like a failure. But what I was going to do is I was going to take some time to really heal. I always suggest taking time to heal when you've had a breakup after a long period of time. It's really important to get yourself back. I took some time to heal, and during that time, I looked at what I learned about myself and relationships, what I liked in my relationships and what I didn't like. I also looked at something very difficult he said to me as he walked out the door, and that was, Lisa, you don't know how to let a man be a man. I thought he was crazy, but it was the second time I'd heard it, so I knew there was something there. Well, it led me into this path of becoming an over 50s dating expert. And I recognized that, wow, this is the second time I've heard this. Something has to change in my life, and I need to really take a look at this. You have choice. When bad things happen or things that make you feel embarrassed happen, you can either wallow in it or you can learn from it and move forward. I wouldn't be where I am today without what happened. And you are where you are today as a result of your past as well. But now you have a choice of how to look at that past and to see how it really helped you move forward. Everything we do always has a lesson in it. It may be a hard lesson, but there's always a lesson in it. Another bad habit that often happens is we deny any mistakes we made. We really say, oh, it was all their fault. That's why the marriage ended. Or it was all their fault. That's why they did this. What happens is when we do this, number one, I will share with you, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. It's a common thing. The key is similar to what we talked about in the last bad habit. Learn from them. But when you deny your mistakes, you keep yourself from learning and from growing. If you make a mistake, acknowledge it. Really acknowledge it. It's okay. People know you made the mistake. If you're denying it, it's only you that knows that. But it really stunts you. The guilt of sometimes knowing something happened, even though you're denying it, can actually physically make you ill because you're holding such a dark cloud over yourself. It's always there, even when you deny it. So if you made a mistake, I want you to start to think of mistakes as a way to create a new opportunity. There are no mistakes anymore. It's, yes, I know I could have done this differently, and now I choose to do it differently. It's going to change your whole life, and it's going to change your life with the people that you want to date. Another bad habit that keeps you from finding love after 50 is focusing on the negative of every person you meet. It's really easy to see people's flaws. And it's especially easy when you're a perfectionist and when you're so hard on yourself. The harder we are on ourselves is the harder we're going to be on other people. We're afraid they're going to see our flaws and not like us because of our flaws. So what we do is we start looking at everything negative about them so that we can reject them first versus them rejecting us. Also, when we focus on the negative, it becomes bigger than life. There is another spiritual saying of what we focus on is what we get. And when we focus on the positive, more of that comes towards us. When we focus on the negative, that is what comes towards us. Stuff is not so great in life, but try and find the good things. It's going to make a big difference. If you focus on someone's clothing when you meet them, the problem's going to be that's all you're going to focus on. Oh, they have bad clothing or bad teeth. They could be the best person in the world, but because of some outer thing, you think they're not so great. Now, you can't change people's personalities, but you can change clothing over time. You can change the way people's teeth are or wearing makeup, things like that. So be careful what you're focusing that negative energy on. Also, what goes around comes around. So if we focus on negative of everything, you're going to attract someone that does it back to you. It doesn't feel good. We really want to have people in our lives that see us as amazing. There's a saying that goes, good is good enough. We're human. We're not perfect. We make mistakes, we stumble, we fall, we just try again, and we keep learning and growing. And nothing has to be perfect because perfection doesn't exist. A really bad habit people get into is expecting their significant other to be perfect. So we go out there and we start looking for that perfect person that doesn't exist. It's like looking for the needle in the haystack. You're never going to find a perfect partner to love you in the exact way that you envision that they should be. What you really want in a partner and the perfect partner for you is someone who is willing to love you with all that they are and love you for the good and the bad. They'll accept you for who you are and who you can and cannot be. They're never going to be perfect. No one is, and you're not going to be perfect either. But finding a partner that's going to love you just how you are is the perfect person for you. I gave you a lot of bad habits that we get stuck in that actually put you in tremendous dating rut. Go back and listen to this again in the podcast when you have a chance. It'll be there under the Going Solo Network website. And really listen to these bad habits again, because they're all mindset. They're all ways of thinking. And we can always turn our mindset around. And when we do, it makes us powerful. When we stay stuck in these bad habits, we're giving our power away. We're not taking responsibility. And our lives become miserable. And truthfully, nobody wants to date someone who's miserable. They want to date someone that sees the glass is half full or more. They want to date someone they can love and who loves them for who they are. I love you for who you are, and I hope you do too. I'll talk to you again next week on the You Can Find Love After 50 show. I'm Lisa Copeland, and you're listening to the WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. Have a great week.